Gardner-Webb head coach Cris Reisert, the team victorious in the North-South Barbecue Bowl 17-14 over Charleston Southern. This week, they are back in action. They're going to host Eastern Illinois, the first time those two programs have ever met. So, Coach, some thoughts on your team? We'll go to some questions.
Yeah, good to get a win on Saturday. Proud of the guys. It was a game that had some hoopla around it, barbecue bowl, and cool tradition among rivals with Charleston Southern and Gardner-Webb, and I thought it was really a fun day. Anytime you're playing for a trophy, you're going to compete, and if there's something on the line you want to win, and it ups the ante a little bit. And felt like Saturday our guys played hard. They played with an edge, and we certainly found a way to win and scored just a couple more than Charleston Southern.
Let's talk about the end of the game. You all went up 17-7, and then the last a little bit was some crazy things happened, and then they missed the field. They get the onside kick, missed the field goal, but just kind of those emotions going through when some bounces go there.
Yeah, it certainly takes some years off your life. Yeah, I'd like to say I'm getting used to that because I feel like we've been in those situations quite often this year, and I don't know that you ever quite get used to it. But no, it's crazy. I've never had a quarterback spike turn into fumble, turn into touchdown, and a little bit of everything. And so it was reminiscent of my first game as a head coach, where everything that kind of could have gone wrong situationally, this was in 2019, did go wrong, and we were able to come out on the right end and win our first game 2019. And this one felt like that too. It was like, man, what else can kind of come our way? And but the resiliency effect, I thought, really rung true. And our guys, albeit maybe not the way you draw it up, but they found a way to win, and we defended a fade in the end zone before the field goal, which was huge, and had a chance to put just enough pressure on the kick, and ended up being a missed field goal kick, and the Dogs prevail and our barbecue bowl champs. So we're certainly not giving it back.
It's a cliche, the game of inches, right? But literally,
Yeah.
some inches, two plays there go your way.
Yeah, no, I mean that's college football. Like, the game is never over until the clock hits zero. And I think it was a really good learning lesson for our team as well. I mean, we are building our program, daily, and by the second. And so every opportunity, every example that you can use just to further solidify the compete in the finish and the 60-minute approach to a football game, we use it. And anytime you can win, it makes it easier to teach, and it makes it easier really to draw upon those experiences and use them as growth, and as we call it, Kaizen, just continuously getting better. And so that's what Saturday was. And now it's about shape shifting our focus to Eastern Illinois, and and playing another really good football game, against a really good football team at home, which we're excited to pack Spangler.
And so you mentioned, yeah, they scored 45 points in what was a shootout this past week. What have you seen from them? They probably obviously they're better than what their record shows, I would guess.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, they've got a really good quarterback. They've got a really experienced receiver group. Their running back's a dynamic player. Will be over 1,000-yard rusher, and close to a 500-yard receiver. And he's a Cincinnati guy, which is where I'm from. So I remember him back from his high school days and know how talented he is. And offensively, they do a lot that gives you cause for concern. And so we've got to be able to play the pass, but it's still a game where you got to be able to stuff the run too, right? And so they make you have to kind of burn on both ends of the night there. And so but we'll be ready, and we'll be mindful where the back is and where the certain pieces need to be, and to make sure that we have a good plan. I think defensively, they've got some really dynamic kids up front that we've got to make sure we're able to put a couple bodies on, or put a piece here and there to kind of jimmy rig how we block them in the way, and how many people we block them with. I think that'll be a pivotal piece of the game. I think the Mike linebacker number 5 is a really dynamic kid, and we're going to have an awareness for him and be able to put a hat on him consistently and at times too, to make sure that we get the job done. So they're a well coached, tough, physical football team that 1,000% is better than their record, and we certainly are not in the business of overestimating or underestimating anyone. We don't estimate anyone. So we're just here trying to play good football, and worried more about Gardner-Webb and more about our pursuits of just getting better one day at a time. But certainly, we look forward to the battle with East Illinois on Saturday.
What about your running back? And he seems to keep being efficient for you, 86 yards against Charleston Southern.
Yeah, I mean Edward's a really really good player. I don't think there's many better in the conference. I really don't. We've played some really good backs, and I think he's right up there with those guys. And he's battled some injuries, but is finally healthy and has really been dynamic in our last couple of weeks, which we're proud of. And he's a guy that you can give the ball to, and it's going to get what it's supposed to get, but you also know that there's a chance that it gets more than it's supposed to get because of his dynamic ability to run the football. And so it's been a blessing to have him, and wish we had him for 4 more years. Unfortunately, we get him for one, but it's been fun to have him, and we're anxious to ride it out these next 3 weeks and keep feeding him the football.
Yeah, you did a good job of getting Flowers the ball out of the backfield, and just looking in the box score. Edward had a catch. Kason had a catch. Have you all tried to do that too, to get the running backs involved in the catching passing game?
Yeah, I think you want to make the fifth eligible guy a factor, right? Certainly, the four other eligibles get a lot more, burn, I think, in terms of the mindset. But we've got to continue to accentuate our usage of the back in the pass game, and it's a way to, as we call it, hunt completions. And certainly we've done a better job of that, I think, as weeks have gone on. Tyler, our quarterback, has gotten more adept at that and had a better understanding of when to get there and when not to get there. And that's been part of his maturation as a quarterback. And so, but certainly I think having a usage there is important. They use the back a ton in the pass game. And that's a thing where, with the Flowers kid, I mean, certainly he's a great runner, but he's a good football player. And so if you don't have an eye on him, whether he's as a ball catcher or as a runner, you're gonna be in trouble fast.
Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it.